Now, I have played every single game that is out on PSVR 2. Seriously, I've played every single one of them. Thankfully, the amazing developers of all the games have sent me keys that I could check out, and the ones that didn't, I bought them myself, of course. Now, originally I did this whole thing so that I could review the PSVR 2. I wanted to give you the most honest opinion that I possibly could, and I feel like I delivered on that. By playing everything, it gave me good time with a headset to really form a strong opinion. Now, not only did I form a strong opinion about the headset, I also formed a pretty darn good opinion on all the games that you should be checking out. Now, this, of course, is a list of my personal top 10 that you should definitely be checking out. I've tried to keep this nice and varied, a little bit of everything on the list, stuff for you to be checking out and enjoy yourselves. Now, of course, everyone's going to have one game that's not on this list. I can already sense it right now. Bro, you didn't mention blah, 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 blah. So I feel you. I already understand those comments are coming my way, and I fully encourage them. In the comments down below, leave the list of your top 10 or any games that you think I've missed off this list and why they are awesome, because then you'll help out other people find epic games. Now listen, we all have individual taste, so we cannot love the same games. All I can do here is tell you that my top 10 list and why you should be checking out each of these games. Now, I will say as well, as a caveat to this being a top 10 list, I am not picking out these games in any particular order. There is no difference between my love for the first game in this list to the last game. They are all here, we're just putting them in a number order, okay? Let's make that super clear. I don't want any jealousy between anyone. I love all these games equally. Here is my top 10 list. So let's dive in with the first game, and this one is a cracker. This is After the Fall. I blinking love this game. It's so much fun. I've put way too many hours into the PC Quest, and now I'm jumping into it on the PSVR 2, getting that grind on once again. If you're unfamiliar with what this game is, it is a Left 4 Dead style game in virtual reality. Jump in, destroy a bunch of snowbreed, work your way through the pretty decent selection of levels at this point, and there's a lot of replayability to this game, which I freaking love. Now, once you're in those levels, you're going to be unlocking weapons, you're going to be unlocking skins, attachments for those weapons, and skins for your character. So there's a ton to be getting in there for, and honestly, getting in with 3 other mates and having an absolute blast is just my preferred way to enjoy some VR good fun times. Now, why do I recommend this so much on the PSVR 2? Well, I feel like a broken record when I say this, but I feel like it might be one of the definitive ways to play this game. Reason being, haptics. Haptics are amazing, and I feel like this is something that's going to pour through to a lot of these other games, so I'll explain one key point in each of the times that I bothered to bring this up. It's probably going to be a lot of times because it's really what sells me on the PSVR 2. Haptics in the controllers and the adaptive triggers make this game just next level. It feels so much more immersive, you actually get fatigue in your hand, and it just feels like a complete experience when you dive into this. So if you're interested in looking for a multiplayer game that you want to get in with a few friends, this one, my friends, is the one for you. Next up, we're going to drive in at 150 miles an hour because it's GT7. I freaking love this game. I have so much time for this game. I love it so much. Now, I am not a sim racer by any means, never have been, and really a few months back I would have said never would have been, but nonetheless GT7 was announced for the PSVR 2 and I was like, dude, I have to get in on this. So I bought myself a nice wheel. I got the Logitech G9, I think. God, I don't know what it's called, probably that. Picked it up and instantly I was won over. Then when I finally got to jump into it in virtual reality, when the PSVR 2 dropped, I was just like, wow, this is the one for me. There is so much freaking content in this game. There are so many cars to explore, and the fact that you can get in those cars and just check them out from the interiors, race, and it feels so immersive to get in there with a bunch of friends. Like, dude, I've driven in the Tomahawk and that car goes like 388 miles an hour and it feels freaking insane to do so. I absolutely adore my time that I've had in this game. If you kind of even on the fence about this, I recommend that you at least try it with pad, and I think you're going to end up buying a steering wheel and pedals pretty darn soon after, as it is a top-notch experience. Next up, it's time to dive into some scary, spooky games. That's right, it's time to jump into Switchback. Now this for me is an absolute no-brainer. I have really enjoyed like the hours and hours of entertainment I've got out of Switchback so far. If you're looking for something with the jump scare factor, then yes, indeed, Switchback will do that to you. It made me, void my bowels a few times. It was... not literally, but yeah, it's definitely got that factor to it. If you're a fan of the Dark Pictures games and that series in general, then this is exploring all of those stories that they've already released into flat games, now bringing them into virtual reality on an epic roller coaster ride where you get to shoot a bunch of different guns, destroy a bunch of enemies, and get your socks blown clean off of you in fear. So definitely check out Switchback. I've got a lot of good things to say about this. The haptics in this game, I know I'm saying haptics again, feel incredible, and there's such subtleties in it, even like silly things like when you rattle your gun, you can actually feel the magazine knocking around inside the actual gun. It's so in depth, it's so amazing. I love it. Now, if you're looking for an adventure, it's time to jump into Horizon Call of the Mountain. I have completed this game and I love this game to death. Now, I will say with a side warning to this game, a lot of people have complained about the sheer amount of climbing in this. I mean, it is called Call of the Mountain. You're going to be climbing. But there is a lot to explore in this game and there's a lot of reasons to absolutely adore and love this game. Personally, I am a huge fan of the Climb series, so Climb 1 and 2, so I already adore climbing in virtual reality, so it was a very much a big bonus for me to be able to get into a game that's not only so freaking stunning, it makes your eyes just want to water. It on top of that had some amazing climbing experiences and some insanely cool fighting experiences. I fought so many cool things in that and it really brought a actual dream to life for me. I am a huge fan of the Horizon series anyway on flat games, and being able to get in there and actually fight those creatures for myself in virtual reality just absolutely won the day for me. A lot of love for that game, definitely one to check out. There is a demo for this as well, so make sure you go and check that out for free. If you're on the fence, check it out for free and then you can make your mind up from there. Now, if you're looking to jump into battle, oh my gosh, I have a game for you. One of the only games, in fact, that you can do on PSVR 2 now with some sword fighting. That's right, it's Swordsman. You can jump in and swashbuckle your way to victory through an epic campaign and a bunch of awesome bonus boss levels as well. There's also a few other fun things that make this game epic, like the arena mode, the brand new sandbox mode as well, which has just been implemented so you can go in there and make your own fun. This game kind of has a bit of it all. Now, I love this game to bits. It's got a ton of fun to have in there, and listen, I might be a little bit biased because I work for the studio, but nonetheless, I'm telling you, this is one heck of an experience to dive into and enjoy yourself. If you're looking for just something that has that physics fun element to it, as well as a bit of realism, then this is going to be the one for you. Swashbuckling your way, fighting your way through everything in a realistic sword fighting battle with a ton of stuff to do it, like I've already listed out so far. So definitely check this one out, dive into it, and if you already own this one, by the way, on PS4, there's a free upgrade currently running where you can upgrade to the PSVR 2 version for free. So make sure you check that out. There's a ton of cool content on its way for that game as well. I can tell you that because I work for the studio. We're going to blast our way into a galaxy far, far away. It's time to go into Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. I adore this game. Now, I'm going to be real with you. When I played it on Quest back, last year at some point, I was kind of a little bit disappointed. I was impressed with what the game had, but the visual quality and fidelity of it kind of put me off of spending too much time in there. Now, when it was announced initially for the PSVR 2, I felt the same way. I was kind of like, oh man, you know, it was a cool game, you know, I had some fun experiences, but is this going to be for me? Turns out, wow, with the visual improvements that they have done for the PSVR 2, it is stunning. It is so stunning, and it kind of marries all of the cool elements that game had into one beautiful experience. It looks absolutely gorgeous in virtual reality on the PSVR 2. And I've just got to say, I've really enjoyed my time in this game so far. Have not completed this one yet, but I have had a barrel of laughs and fun whilst jumping in there, defeating some stuff, meeting some familiar faces, and of course just having some fun with the incredible weaponry. And once again, yeah, the haptics and the controllers, I love them, but the adaptive triggers in this are done incredibly well, and it feels like a very unique experience. So definitely one to check out if you're a Star Wars fan, and to be honest with you, just a fun one to check out regardless anyway. If you're looking for a roguelite adventure, well then look no further than Brigade. Now, this game has had a ton of updates already. They had a little bit of a rocky start as they came onto the PSVR 2, but all the errors and issues have been fixed now, making this one of the best roguelites I have played in a very long time. Not just on the PSVR 2, but in general. I really love the game loop to this game. It's super duper fun to jump into and just have an absolute great time. Upgrade all your stuff, go through an incredible story, and really feel involved in the roguelite more so than when my PC turns itself off. So this is definitely one to check out if you're into your roguelites. A ton of cool weaponry, ton of good stuff to get into in it, and it will have a lot of replayability. I've tried to pick out all of these games to have that exact factor, which is a lot of replayability, so you're getting your money's worth when you buy any of these titles. Next up is the Resident Evil game. Honestly, Resident Evil Village has been pretty intense to play, I'm not gonna lie. I played the demo for this on the channel, and I have played a bit of this game in my personal time. I'm a bit of a wimp. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to manage to complete this, but I can 100% confirm that this game is incredible. Now, just because I'm too much of a wimp to complete it, I know there are huge Resident Evil fans out there, and I have to appreciate that fact and say that you definitely need to check this out. If you are a Resi fan, this game is for you. You are going to love this experience. It's been done incredibly well, and honestly, it feels more immersive than a lot of games. So I have to say, it's stunning, it's amazing, and it works really, really well. So top-notch experience for something that was a flat game being converted into a VR experience. Chef's kiss. Definitely check this one out, and just don't be as much of a wimp as me. There is a free demo again for this one as well, so definitely check that out first, and you'll figure out pretty quickly whether it's going to be for you or not. Now, if you're looking for an emotional experience before your eyes, this game is played entirely with just your eyeballs. That's right, we use the eye tracking that's in the PSVR 2 to play an entire game with it. This is an incredibly emotional experience. I'm not going to ruin any of the story for you because I really feel like you need to get in there and experience this for yourself. It's a couple of hours long, this, but it definitely has some replayability because you can make different choices along the way, and you can have a bit of a different effect on the things that happen in the story along the journey. Now, this is just such an amazing experience to play something with just your eyeballs. I've truly never done anything quite like it, and I felt like it really helped me immerse into the story as I was just sat back, you know. I just sat back, enjoyed the story, didn't have to think about it very much because I was just looking places to do stuff with my eyes. So definitely a top-notch experience, one to experience, and get this one in your library. Now, when it comes to shooters, of course, Pavlov is probably going to be the king of that list. The reason being is that game has been around for a long time. It's the bread and butter of VR, and there's a good reason for it. It's incredibly well made, and it runs really freaking well on the PSVR 2. I feel like I've said that sentence too many times, but regardless, it's true. Also, they've made incredibly good use of all the adaptive triggers and like the head haptics and all those sorts of things tied together, just making this one heck of an experience to get into and play against a bunch of people. Whether you're going in solo just to meet a bunch of people and play with them, or whether you're going with a bunch of friends, you're going to have an absolute blast of a time. I honestly think this game is top tier if you want to get in and have a good time shooting people in the face. What a weird sentence, but regardless, that is that. So there you go, that is my top list of games that you definitively need to check out on the PSVR 2. Honestly, regardless of which one of these you pick up, or if you work your way through the list over the next year, completely down to you, but these are definite recommendations from me. You need to get in there and experience these games because they truly show off what the PSVR 2 can do.